Library of Heaven's Path. Chapter 11, Begging for Mercy. In the fighter for Dan Piga realm, one's muscles, bones and even skin would be tempered, causing one's strength to soar rapidly. The difference between it and Genkai realm was like heaven to earth. Yet, the brat in Genkai realm was able to cause a Piga realm expert to vomit blood with just a single slap. Everyone found the sight unbelievable. Besides, wasn't this fellow the last in the sparring during the teacher qualification examination? Why, is he so strong now? It must just be a coincidence, do not fear him. Qian Biao howled. One of the teachers also agreed with what Qian Biao said and charged over. Just like Li Yuan, he had reached Piga realm advanced stage. His muscles were just like metal tendons and his skin was just like a metal plate, giving an impression of indestructibility. You shall fall to the ground. Stepping forward, this teacher lifted his eyebrow and prepared to smack him with his palm. Pa-pa. The compression of the air resulted in explosive sonic booms. Facing the other party's ruthless blows, Zhang Xuan remained calm. With his forefinger and middle finger together, he struck upwards at a slanted angle. Pada. The teacher, whose body was like a metal plate, felt a slight pain at his armpits before his vision went dark and he collapsed onto the floor. What? In 2 strikes, 2 fighter for Dan teachers were defeated. The remaining 2 teachers, including Qian Biao, knew that the teacher whom they had been looking down upon wasn't as simple as they thought to be. Let's attack together. With a loud roar, Qian Biao raised his fist and charged over. However, even before he made a move, Zhang Xuan suddenly appeared right before him. His left hand grabbed his face while his right hand poked him lightly. Putong. A pain in the abdomen and Qian Biao collapsed to the floor as well. The moment his body hit the floor, the last teacher whom he teamed up with also fell to the ground and convulsed as though he was epileptic. You. How did you know all of our Mingmen? With a spurt of fresh blood, Qian Biao stared at the fellow in front of him in fright. He finally understood why, even though the other party's strength was far from them, the results ended in the direct opposite. Their opponent found the Mingmen of their cultivation the moment he struck. How could they have possibly expected this and guard against it? All cultivators would tend to have a Mingmen as their weakness, and the moment it was struck, even if the person striking was a child, it would be possible to kill the person. However, Mingmen was the core of a human, thus cultivators would protect it carefully. Even the closest kin would not know where their Mingmen is. Although Zhang Xuan did not possess strong cultivation, he seemed to know where their Mingmen was and strike at their vitals directly. How could they resist against someone like that? Hearing his words of astonishment, Zhang Xuan smiled without explaining. Of course, it was through the Library of Heaven's Path. Not only did the Library of Heaven's Path allow him to see through flaws in one's cultivation techniques, he was also able to see the personal problems of the cultivator and his Mingmen. They were all written in detail on it. Knowing his opponent's Mingmen and the weaknesses in their skills, even if Zhang Xuan transcended from Earth and still wasn't very familiar with the skills of this foreign world, it was still a simple task to subdue the 4 of them. Since you all chose to accept the bet, you all should have prepared yourself for the consequences of losing the bet. If you all had obediently allowed me to slap you all, we wouldn't have to go through so much trouble. Zhang Xuan chuckled. Zhang Xuan, you don't need to get gleeful over it. I don't know what kind of despicable methods you used to find out where our Mingmen is to wound me, but as the least experienced teacher, you attacked other teachers in public. Just by this alone, I am able to send a complaint letter to the academy to have your teacher qualification revoked. Qian Biao howled. There were clear levels between teachers in the academy. For lower-level teachers to make a move against higher-level teachers was an immoral action. Zhang Xuan was young, and he also scored 0 for his teacher qualification examination. Thus, he was considered as one of the least qualified teacher in the academy. For him to wound 4 people who were more qualified than him, if the academy were to be informed of this incident, there would definitely be an uproar. His teacher qualification license being revoked was a small matter, it might be possible for him to be directly expelled. Why? Since you can't defeat me using martial arts, you want to try to the rules to suppress me? Despite facing such threats, Zhang Xuan didn't seem to be bothered by it. Indeed, Li Yuan was also thinking about this. Excitement and cruelty flashed across his eyes. If you obediently kneel before us now and allow us to beat you up, perhaps when our moods lift, we won't report the incident. Otherwise, prepare to be fired. After being fired from your position, without your identity as a teacher protecting you, no one will say anything even if you are killed. Another teacher howled. In Tianqian Kingdom, the teachers of an academy were of high social status. The moment they lost their job, their social status would also fall correspondingly. If so, the few of them would really dare to make a move to kill him. Since you all want to deal with this using rules, all right, I will also deal with this using rules then. With a tranquil gaze, he walked a few steps to Qian Biao and said, Qian Biao Lishi, you secretly used Elder Chen Ming's treasure to please your concubine. 3 months ago, you embezzled from the school's fund to buy a house for her. A month ago, when you broke Elder Lu Quan's most beloved porcelain, you pushed the blame onto a student, causing him to be expelled. Do I need to be recounting all of these matters in front of the school leaders? You. Qian Biao's eyes narrowed as his plump body twitched uncontrollably. An inconceivable fear surged through his entire body. He looked as though he had seen a ghost and was on the verge of going insane. He committed all of those without leaving behind any traces, so no one knew about it. Even his colleagues, Li Yuan and the others, weren't aware, so this fellow, how did he know about it? Furthermore, with such details, Li Yuan Lishi, did the female student, whom you robbed of her dignity that resulted in her suicide from 3 years ago, return as a vengeful spirit to look for you? A few days ago, you grew an acne on your back. Perhaps, this could be her seeking you for revenge. Ignoring Qian Biao's terrified expression, Zhang Xuan turned to look at Li Yuan. Ah! Hearing those words, Li Yuan hurriedly backed away from fright as his face drained of all color. 3 years ago, he was enchanted by a beautiful female student and he humiliated her, causing her to commit suicide from shame. This incident was very covered and except for him, no one knew about it. Due to his conscience acting up against him, throughout the 3 years, he often dreamt of the other party coming to reap his life as a vengeful spirit. Furthermore, half a month ago, a giant acne in the shape of a human palm grew on his back, scaring him out of his wits. After hearing Zhang Xuan recount this event with great details, his entire body trembled uncontrollably out of overwhelming fear. Putong! His knees lost his strength and he knelt onto the floor. A sudden pungent smell wafted around the room. To think a fighter 4 Dan advanced stage expert would be frightened to the point of peeing out in public. Du Chun Lishi, you stole your good brother's business and even poisoned him to death through toxic wine. Although this incident was inconclusive back then, if rumors were to spread out now, do you think that you can continue being a teacher? By Lin Lishi, there isn't any major flaws in your actions. However, due to your interest in antiques, you have accepted many gifts from the students. If I'm not wrong, the ancient jade ring which you wear should be a gift from back then when a student had something to request of you. As for what the request is about and who the student is, do you still need me to go into details? Looking at the 2 remaining teachers, Zhang Xuan stated. You are a devil. You aren't human. The remaining 2 teachers were also all frightened out of their wits. This time, their stares were full of fear. Those things that they have done, although it might not be impeccable, they were confident that no outsider would know of it. Yet, how could this fellow be so aware of it? It was as though he was a specter. When he defeated them through his skills, they only felt ashamed, but not fear. However, when he revealed all of their secrets, they were truly terrified. It was as though the multiple clothes on them were instantly ripped to shreds, causing them to stand nude in front of everyone else. They could already imagine that when the information leaked out, whether they could remain as teachers was already a small affair. In the worst case scenario, they might be sent to the teacher court and be killed on the spot. We were wrong. Zhang Xuan, as a great man, don't bear grudges against minor figures like us. Please spare us. Trembling, they unwillingly begged for mercy. I am lazy to bother with what you all did in the past, just stop pissing me off in the future. Also, if you all don't change and continue committing more vile actions, I won't mind interfering to ensure that you all would receive punishments proportionate to your crime. Zhang Xuan waved his hand in disdain. Actually, if these people didn't get on his nerves, he wouldn't be bothered with them. The library of Heaven's Path was able to peer into all of one's flaws. Even personality and past actions were counted in its midst, not to mention that this was only a small portion of the entire book. However, he wasn't the savior of the world, so no matter what they did in the past and do in the future, as long as they did not cross his path, he wouldn't be concerned with them. What these people should have never done was to find trouble with him and make things difficult for him. Since you made things difficult for me, I will show you what death looks like. So that you will never dare to think of doing the same the second time. We don't dare, we will never dare to. Zhang Xuan, these are the identity tokens that you wanted. Take as much as you want to. Hearing that he would not expose their past actions, Qian Biao and the rest heaved a sigh of relief.